Hello stars, my name is Blue and today we're lost in Hiveswap Friendsim. Partly because I still haven't really figured out the puzzle for Heartbound. Also because on our last video with Karako, Alexia in the comments pointed out that I missed out on something very interesting. So we're going back to that before we go on to our next volume of friend making. And another reason we're here is because I suck at keeping consistent schedules. But we are going to find that interesting bit in Karako's. So, oh god, this is loud. Okay, we're going to leap into the fray and lend comfort and support. You leap into the fray and lend comfort and support. Who would have consoled Karako to turn the other cheek, to keep turning cheek after cheek until the sea dwellers got fed up and went away? But now that things have hotted up, oh god, heat it up, please. You're not about to let down the slide. Karako crashes into the sea dwellers, his bladed weapons whirling like a blender. You scamper close behind him and kick someone in the shin. It hurts your foot, but it doesn't seem to have any other effect. These sea dwellers are made of tough stuff, or you're extremely flimsy. Signs have recently pointed to the latter. Your next sortie? What? Your next sortie is more effective, however. Thinking quickly, you pick up a rock and throw it at the trigger root of a spring thorn growing along the path next to where the violet bloods are enduring Hurricane Clown. The coiled stalk springs out, impaling the dude with a 12-foot-long thorns. He's thrown off balance, and violet blood begins to flow copiously down his body. That's a hue you haven't seen before. Kinda pretty. But these sea dwellers are made of tough stuff. He yanks the spring thorn stalk away from him, pulling the thorns out and flinging it into the woods. Then he takes out a pocket handkerchief and starts patting his injuries gently. Meanwhile, Karako's bladed weapons have not been idle, and the other two sea dwellers are likewise leaking violet blood. But these bastards are hard to kill. You remember Polypud telling you that. As you watch, one of them grabs one of the bladed weapons from Karako's hand and buries it in Karako's stomach. Unsurprisingly, this is distracting for a poor little clown. We're starting off great. Allowing two of the finny sons of bitches to grab a handful of bladed weapons from his belt and bury them in various parts of his body. You dance around delivering harmless kicks and curses. Karako is still waving his weapons, but he seems to be waving them more slowly now. Then, as more and more bladed weapons are buried in his body, he seems to lose focus. The weapons he's been brandishing fall from his hand. Finally, he falls into the ground in the center of a spreading pool of purple blood, twitches feebly for a minute, and then is still. You stare in disbelief at the corpse of one who, if he had been sparred just a short while longer, would have been your friend. One despised and rejected, a clown of suffering, familiar with pain. They had flogged him, and mocked him, and spit on him, and then killed him. You struggle to come to terms with this. While you're doing that, one of the remaining sea dwellers grabs you by the hair and suplexes you onto the ground. Your head snaps back and pain explodes behind your eye. You're left lying on your back and trying to stay conscious, which is why you have a good view of what happens next. In the dark sky above you, something opens, something even darker than the sky. A hole, like a cave in the clouds. It widens until you can see that in the cave, a carousel with wooden horses mounted on brass posts rotates, the horses plunging up and down in time with the carnival music playing by mechanical organ. Riding the horses are naked store window mannequins, their legs slung awkwardly over the horse's back, their stiff arms down by their sides in whatever pose they are created. Their horns huge and widely shaped. In the darkness above the carousel, other naked mannequins with plastic wings tied on their backs are supported on wires. And above these, in turn, a net of white Christmas tree lights twinkle against the roof of the dark cave or circus tent or whatever it is, throwing their dim starlight illumination down on the rotating carousel. As you watch, two of the winged mannequins break loose from their wires and fly down from the dark region of the night sky in the dimension Alternia occupies. They maneuver until the stiff hands and ends of their stiff arms are underneath Karako, then they lift him up into the sky and into the dark carnival. You hear a last faint, reviving honk as they set him on one of the wooden horses. And then the hole in the sky closes, and there's nothing but the night sky above you. All is silent and still again. An odd feeling comes over you. You don't think you've ever felt such a feeling, just the reality of how utterly insignificant you are. Sure, you've spent the last few months wandering with no desire but the desire for connection. And you are, in a way, a unique being in this galaxy, but honestly, what does that even mean? You flit in and out of people's lives. They're 1 minute, gone the next. Always moving from friend to friend. You are, for all intent and purposes, a virtual non-entity, a bland point of view vector, a neutral second-person narrator, barely coming into the picture, a retiring entity, expressing only simple, one-dimensional desire for friendship. But just about now, you feel that things have gone pretty far, and just about now, you feel that you've had enough. Enough of arrogant high bloods. Enough, in fact, of short wavelength chemotypes carelessly and without communication, killing and maiming and exploiting those of longer wavelengths, of a survival of the fittest regimen that seemed to come down to survival of the most violent psychopaths. Is this a moral universe, or is it not, you ask yourself? A repulsive cruelty and sickening evil punished in this universe, or are they not? Does an ethical force operate in this universe, or does it not? You don't know the answer to these questions, but you do know one thing. You intend to depart for once from your one-dimensional persona. You intend to punish repulsive cruelty and sickening evil if it comes within your ability to do so. You intend to create an ethical force field in your local region. You intend to exert some moral gravity right around where you are if you possibly can. And you realize that this odd feeling you're having seems to be drawing moral Higgs bosons from the moral ground state and right out of the fabric of this multicolored blood-soaked planet that heaves under your feet. You take on the aspect of Clown Sarker. What? Whoa. Seizing 2 cans of inexpensive soft drink from where they fell from Karako's bands, you shake them and pull the pins. Then, with malice aforethought, you direct the twin streams of the seed holders. You smell banana and strawberry as the deadly streams play upon them. Already weakened, they fall back with cries under the withering onslaught. As soon as the streams slacken, you take up 2 more cans, shake them, and deal out death to the unrighteous. You smell peach and diet root beer this time, but no pity softens your heart. You wouldn't care even if it were pineapple watermelon you were spraying on these brutes. But these spin heads are made of tough stuff. Rallying even in the face of this intense onslaught, they push forward and, seizing some bladed weapons from the purple blood pool, advance upon you. Not one step back. You vow to the memory of Karako Pirate. You stand your ground in desperation, grabbing some cans of diet tonic water and club soda and opening up your batteries once again. But to no avail. Ooh. A trident pierces you to the bone, followed by a scimitar and a tomahawk and a sword spear and so many other bladed weapons that the sheer weight of them drives you to the ground, where your red, precious blood flows in moderate streams, mixing with the purple of your proto-friend. This is the end, you realize. But you are glad you died in righteous battle. You are glad you created even the tiny, sputtering, temporary moral force field in your local region that you did. You can feel your life and narrative point of view slipping away, but you are content. Yet, what's that you see above you now? A dark space has opened up, even darker than the night sky. Two stiff-looking winged figures are descending. They land next to you and gently place their stiff hands under you. Then they ascend once again, lifting you higher and higher into the darker space. Oh god, it got brighter. As you pass the boundary of the heavenly carnival, your life seems to revive within you. And as the fabrics of this place closes around you and the two stiff medicants place you on a carousel. I lost my place. Carousel horse next to Karako. You realize that planets, universes, dimensions, realities, powers, principalities, and cosmos come and go, but friendship is forever. Dude. What the fuck? What just happened? Clown heaven? Dude. That was, thank you, Alexia, for telling me that I did miss that, because that was an intriguing experience. Wow. Kind of upset that wasn't in Karuko's video, original video. Anyways, that's not the end of this video, I promise. We are officially going on to Volume 15 of Creativity's words. Come on, brain. Confectional or otherwise. You look intriguing. Oh, I've seen you a lot. I shouldn't be looking at these, but I am. I'm actually excited to get to this lovely, because I see them a lot. You walk with purpose. You don't really have a purpose, aside from friendship, of course. But you know these streets pretty well by this point, so you can at least strut like you got one. Charun? Charun. And Wanchi? Wanchi? Don't know anymore. Anyways, Charun. We're just gonna go with Charun. Let's go with Charun. I believe he's the garden boy, if I remember correctly. I've seen a lot of this stuff on Tumblr. Actually, you know what? You've had it up to here with friendship. You're sure you'll be back to on your regular friend making bullshit later, but today is just one of those days. A curl up under the blankets with your favorite show sort of day. A leave your phone on silent and say nothing to no one sort of day. You mean every day? What's a social life? This is all the social activity I get. And honestly, you've watched a friend almost die of poisoning and gaze upon the juggalo afterlife. And you think you've more than earned this day. Or night, rather. of respite like this. So, just for today, you turn your back on this new swath of Alternian City you were considering walking through and head back to ye old hideout. No explorations now. Only bed. You drag yourself up the scaffolding to your hidey hole. More than anything, more than binging on media or relaxing amidst peace and quiet, you want to take a nice long nap. So you spill yourself into the little pile of bedding, pillows, and various pieces of clothing that you've managed to throw together and settle in. As soon as your body touches it, you're out like a light. But it isn't very long until you wake again. And because your body is rousing itself after sufficient slumber, but not because your body is arousing itself from sufficient slumber, but because the persistent scrabbling sound that's followed by a loud thunk. Typically, that wouldn't be enough to get you up. You're a pretty heavy sleeper, but the noise is accompanied by the nagging sensation of whatever is making that noise is in the room with you, and that has you bolting upright. You must have woken up in the middle of your REM cycle because it felt like a mummy rising out of a crypt. Is this real life, or is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. Your brain struggles to make sense of your surroundings through the fog of residual sleepiness that is still settled over you as you stumble to your feet. Eventually, you're able to discern that the noise is coming from behind and above you, around where the ceiling is. What the hell? Is there a raccoon crawling in the vents? Does Alternia have raccoons? If it does, you're pretty sure you wouldn't want to meet one. But you can't exactly leave it in your living space either. You go to investigate. The noise isn't coming from the ceiling like you thought, but a platform that's been shoved unceremoniously to the very back of the watchtower. There's a large object in front of it that wasn't there before, a giant curved lens that could only have come from the hole that is now in the side of the platform structure. Maybe this was an old telescope or camera that the Constant once used for surveillance? Condense. The scrabbling continues. It's coming from within the structure. God, we were doing okay, and now we're just out of it. You're not eager for whatever it is in there to come jumping out at you as soon as you stick your head inside. But you still your nerves and hoist yourself up. You're finding yourself face to face with not some weird animal or bug, but a troll. You gonna say anything, bud? This is a bona fide friend opportunity. Friend opportunity? I don't know. It's practically fallen in your lap, but you find yourself unexpectedly ornery about it. You would think that you would expect some privacy in your own home. Or, well, the place you've adopted as home in Alternian. Anyways, but apparently not. Even when you decided that you aren't in a friending mood, the universe goes, yeeting a new friend in your path anyways. You can't go a day on this planet without dancing the whole friendship gid. It quickly becomes obvious that this mysterious stranger isn't going to offer you anything more than an enigmatic words that I know but can't read today. Gazing into the middle distance. What exactly are they doing in your hideout, you ask? If they were thinking about moving in, they could have at least asked you first. You're the current occupant, after all. I don't want to move in. I already have a hive. I came up here for that. They point past you. You can only assume they're referring to the giant lens you've seen on the floor. Well, if they got what they came for, why are they still hanging around on the platform's innards like this? I'm stuck. That was 3 clicks before I got to the next slide. And they didn't try calling for help? I didn't notice you. Wherever you came from. I didn't think anyone else was here. Would they perhaps like some help? I'm clicking. Maybe. As you hop down from the platform, you find your ire draining from you, much like flesh juice from a pimple. Ew. It's difficult to stay angry upon witnessing what's possibly the most pathetic burglary attempt ever, and that's counting your little fiasco with your ship. After walking around to see the other side of the platform, you can see the troll's booted legs sticking out from the gap in the structure. It looks much too narrow for anyone to crawl through, and yet that's exactly what they must have done in order to push the lens out from behind. You yell that you're going to try to pull them out. You hear a faint muttered "okay" and reach up to grab them from around their waist, pulling hard. It takes a couple of tries, but with one last particularly hard tug, you're finally able to pull them free. They tumble down on top of you. Thanks for getting me unstuck and breaking my fall. You didn't really do that part on purpose, but you're glad they appreciate it, you guess. They seem pretty content to continue lying on top of you, actually, but they're heavy, so you wriggle out from underneath them like an earwig from a rock and clamber to your feet. You nod at the lens. That's what they want, huh? The troll sits up, crossing their legs. You can see them more clearly now that they aren't... excuse me. Sequestered inside the platform, although their face is obscured with a little by their shaggy hair and floppy wide brim hat. They look about as sleepy as you felt earlier, as sleepy as you're in danger of feeling again. In fact, their voice is slow and regular, like a metronome dunked in molasses. Really? And it almost threatens to send you right back to bed. Yeah, so... click. Can I have it? You swear you can feel your friend making juices start circulating through your body again with vengeance after a little... there's little... subtactical. You're not really sure what came over you before. Turning down the chance to make a new friend? You? Wow, who kidnapped you and replaced you with a total stranger for a few hours there? You tell the troll, of course they can have the lens. It's not like you're doing anything with it, or like it's even yours to begin with. It's just abandoned here along with the rest of this broken down tech. Curiously, you ask what they want it for. Are they building something? Perhaps they're an engineer of some sort. No. Climbing all the way up here just for some building material would be pretty dumb. I want to use it for... any day now! Art. Where's the log? This is the log, right? Look at this. Look at this log. Why are you like this? Why? Huh. You look at the lens again skeptically. It's a cool lens, you suppose, but it mostly looks like exactly what it is, a hunk of junk. They want to make art out of this? Their work must be pretty, interesting. Let's say interesting. They squint at you like they've taken some sort of issue with your comment. Have you managed to offend them? You thought you were being polite enough given the circumstances. Interesting is usually what people say when they have nothing better to say. Do you have a problem with making art out of trash? You shake your head rapidly, but the troll is already crossing their arms and shooting you a disapproving look. I don't think I want to talk to you anymore. Oh no, does that mean they're going to leave? And after you'd up and decided to try to add them to your ever-growing friend harem? No, I'm tired. Oh, okay then. They're just gonna kind of glower at you from the floor for a while until they get their strength back enough to leave. You assume. This definitely isn't awkward at all. Friendship faux pas. I love that image. It's great. Weird. Yeah. The two of you alternate between looking at the lens and each other for a while. Usually over the course of making a new friend, they usually would have asked you to do something by now, or present you with some sort of choice between two potential courses of action. Is there anything they like to do now that they've retired from... retrieved from their art materials? Retrieved their art materials. Brain! No. Got a 9. Got 9. I feel like the Dark Carnival is going to be the most interesting part of this entire video. Guess it's all on you then. They probably want to take the lens back to their hive, right? I would, but I'm tired and hungry. Foraging for garbage takes a lot of energy, and I used the last of it climbing up here. I don't think I'll be able to carry it by myself. They really didn't think this whole junk heist thing through very well, did they? But would you look at that? This is an excellent time to make a suggestion. Why are there so many choices? You can help carry it. 4 arms are better than 2. You do that? Make sure you're careful with it. Of course. You treat it with all the delicacy of an egg in an egg spoon race. God. I don't know what that is. Carrying it to the watchtower's entrance is easy enough. Maneuvering it down a cliff face is more complicated. You manage by holding it between you as you navigate from foothold to foothold. Oh my god. When you reach the bottom, the troll looks like they're ready to sit down again right there in the bush, but you urge them on. Resting in their hive will probably be much more comfortable. That's the wrong way. Sheepishly, you whirl back around from the random direction you're about to stride towards and follow them instead. With them leading the way, you bringing up the rear, the two of you shamble along the path with all the easy grace of 2 people in a horse costume. But you make it to your new companion's hive much quicker than you would have expected. They come to a stop in front of the entrance of a cave in another cliffside. If this is their place, this isn't very far from yours at all. You're surprised that you haven't run into them until now. They're practically a neighbor. I've seen you around before. You're pretty hard to miss. Really? They should have said hi and introduced themselves. The 2 of you could have been hanging out all this time. Click. Didn't feel like it. Besides, I was busy. With more of this scavenging and art business, you guess... Oh well, you're getting to know each other now, which is what's important. Speaking of, you've been talking and walking along, but you haven't even exchanged names yet. How remiss of you. Usually you would have gotten introductions out of the way from the moment they broke into your hideout, but it's been an odd sort of night. That's okay. I'm Charun. Now, come on, let's go inside. They pull you and the lens forward. They, didn't ask your name in return, but you manage to bumblingly introduce yourself as you lurch along into their hive. Whoa. This is cool. At home on Earth, you had the thing about garages. You thought it was interesting to scope the sort of stuff people ended up accumulating. You've seen some real gems in your day. A collection of singing and dancing novelty plant figurines, a small army of Furbies without any fur. Oh god. Beat up remains of some kind of cat mascot costume. Inside of Charun's hive is As if every single weird garage you've ever seen converged to exist simultaneously in the same cave, the Platonic ideal of garages. It's hard to believe that someone lives here. If you look closer, though, you begin to notice homey comforts tucked in among the metal junkyard scraps and broken furniture piled over the floors and all the way up along the craggy cave walls. A raccoon sits on the ledge of one wall, and you think that's a kitchen cabinet wedged into the other? So, what do you think? It's pretty cozy, you say, giving them a double thumbs up. The stalactites are a nice touch. I meant about my art. Oh, the art. Of course. You cast around desperately. Charun's hive is such a jumble of melaniousness that it's impossible for you to figure out which of it is art materials and which are finished artworks and which are Charun's actual belongings. That's a pretty gnarly skull over there with leaves in that eye socket. The angle at which the umbrella sticks out of the launcher is really compelling. You settle on a purple object in the corner that looks more like a traditional sculpture than a bunch of household items stuck together. Those curves that... Whoa, phone. Okay. Emerithin thine hue, a truly an expiring piece. Charun looks at you strangely. That's just a load gapper. You don't know much about art, do you? Busted. No, you really don't. Rommel taught you the importance of giving the people what they want, and Amacia taught you the importance of pinning down a tarp before lopping off the head so blood or paint doesn't get all over the floor. But you haven't learned very much about actually creating art from them. As you gaze around the cave again, you find that you really want to understand. Clearly, this is something that's important to Charun. Otherwise, why would they spend the majority of their time on it? You too wish to experience the marvels of the creative process if there only was a way for you to learn. If you wanted that badly, you could make something out of what I've collected. Really? But they must have worked so hard to find all this. Is it really fun for you to just dick around with it? You were surprised to see that Charun looks pleased at what you're saying. It's maybe the most expressive you've seen them since you've met. All art is dicking around. You're not wrong. Looks like you're already starting to get it. You smile proudly. And anyway, if you make something sucky, they shrug their shoulders. I can just take it apart again and reuse its separate components to make something else. Your smile flags a little. Where do you want to start? You rub your chin thoughtfully, wandering over to the lawn chair with the umbrella in it. A pile of fabric is stacked on top. You rifle through it until you find some colors you like. Then you walk across the other side of Charun's hive, searching for other items you might be able to use. Charun doesn't offer much in terms of guidance aside from cautioning you away from the couple of objects that are actually finished artworks. Oops. You end up with an armful of knickknacks that you put down in front of what is now a lamppost, but will soon be your canvas of choice. Then you get to work. The fabric you twirl around the post, you tie the smaller objects, a snow globe, an old boot, a fancy Santa, onto it with string. On top, you perch a rubber Walmart goose that makes a majestically horrible noise when pressed. As your art piece comes together under your hands, you take a few steps back every now and then to appraise it from further away, making adjustments whenever you find something you're not happy with. Finally, it's complete. You turn to ask Charun's opinion, newly flushed with pride and adrenaline from having successfully made a thing. They don't look very impressed. Your face falls. What's wrong? Did you use too much orange? Were the scattered Luce's teeth a little too out there? Listen, you're overthinking this. Just do what feels right. You frown. Don't think at all, then? Let your instincts drive you. Thinking a little is probably good too. Okay, don't overthink it, but don't abandon rational thought altogether. Let your feelings guide you, but not completely. Pretty vague, but sure. You give it another shot. You strip the lamppost back down. This time, you don't spend too long regarding it in all its nude metal glory. You begin working immediately, wrapping around Charun's hive in a flurry of cave dust and determination, grabbing things as soon as you lay eyes on them. Charun looks more and more fascinated the longer you're at it. It's not until their eyes are positively gleaming. Soon they're taking step after tentative step towards you, as if drawn to you by sheer force of your artistic energies. They look like they might want to join in, actually. Is that okay? I see what you're going for, I think. Your vibe got me all inspired. Of course! The more the merrier. You'd love to see what the two of you could create together. With a barely there smile, Charun plants a traffic cone at the base of the lamp with great aplomb, and you're off. There might be a break in this. Give me a few seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. What was instantly for you was a few minutes for me. Anyways, it was all a blur after that. The two of you move in unison, like you're co-piloting a Jaguar? Who knows? Except instead of a giant... Oh, Jaeger? Instead of a giant robot, you're steering a furiously creative propelled figure state. Words have escaped me. Wow, I think we're almost done. You stand back from your newly forged pile of bric-a-brac, mopping the sweat from your brow. They're right. You're almost finished. Almost. You need to add the finishing test. The piece de resistance. You know just the thing. With great conviction, you pick up a box from the floor, tearing it open so that its contents fall all over your sculpture. Oh no. How do I even go about saying that word? My polysacrificious sluts? You freeze. Were those cooking ingredients? You seem to have got carried away. You start apologizing, but Charun is waving your words away. It's fine. It looks better like this. Too good to waste as food. Anyway, I can find other things to eat. You both regard your creativity, heaving for breath. You're done! As exhausted as you are, a wonderful calm settles over you as you admire the result of your hard work. It's beautiful. He looks like he's good. He looks like he's staring at someone he really, really loves. Like, this is the love of his life. It really, really is. You don't know how, because you think you'd actually done anything different compared to your first try. You don't think you'd actually... Maybe you just got lucky. But regardless of exactly how it comes about, this is one of your most bizarrely sublime things you think you've ever laid eyes on in your life. And the longer you stare at it, the more layers and depth reveal themselves to you, like the petals of a newly bloomed flower opening up to the sunlight of spring. Abruptly, irresistibly, you feel yourself groped in the throes of your profound new knowledge. Charun's artworks are pointless and weird, but perhaps that's what gives them their charm. In an uncertain, violent world where troll kills troll. Yeah, words. And where you might be trapped in an endless Sisyphean journey across the planet in search of new friends, for a brief moment, you can have this. You stand here, awash in appreciation. What the fuck? Awash in appreciative what the fuck at this masterpiece you've created out of a bunch of other people's trash, marveling at how you've birthed something greater than yourself. Sometimes, trash can be beautiful. You think you understand now. This is what Charun must have been endeavoring to teach you. You beam at them, glowing with the joy of your discovery. Yeah, sure, if you say so. Joyride! That's so cute. Cute friends. Well, we visited the Dark Carnival, Juggalo heaven of sorts, in Karako's playthrough that we missed last time, and we met an interesting new friend. A chill, interesting new friend. So, yeah, good video. So, that's it for today's stars. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already to join our wonderful galaxy. Comment down below and I'll get back to you one way or another. And I will see you for our next adventure. Remember, we're all made of the same cosmic dust, so be nice. Kate, love you, bye!